Okay, so we have an empirical formula of C3H6O, all right, and so that could be either C3H6O or C6H12O2 or so on, right? So we're going to consider first of all the simplest possibility, 3 times 12 plus 6 times 1 plus 16, which is 36 plus 6 plus 16, 42 plus 16, 58. 58 is my molecular ion peak, and so therefore molecular formula is equal to C3H6O. All right, so I have to think now. Now we start doing our predicting before we look at our other spectra. We see what could that be. That could be 1, 2, 3. That's not C3. That's C3H8O. So we have maybe a double bond in there. Could be that. Could be that. And it could be that. All right, yeah, now it's time for me to first of all look and see if I've got a carbonyl carbon in it. That is the most prominent peak that we ever care about. And so if it's got one at 1700, then I can get rid of those two possibilities. 15, 16, 17, boom, yes it does. Therefore, it's not that. It's got to be one of these two. All right, so let's make a note there and say, aha, this is a carbonyl carbon. All right. Now, obviously, the only difference between these two is connectedness. So if this guy, I'll go back and do more on I'll go back and do more on my IR in just a second. That may be a student. I'm going to call that person back in just a second after we're done with this video. First of all, if it's this, then I see both of these guys are the same. And so the type for that one is just going to be 1. I'm going to call that A. This one's got 2 different kind of hydrogens on it. Actually, 3 different kind of hydrogens on it, right? 3 different kind of hydrogens. So if it's got 1 peak, it's acetone. If it's got 2 peaks, it's propanal, which we haven't learned to name yet. I know, sorry about that. But you have seen acetone a lot. Okay? So it's either got 3 peaks or 1. Boom. It's acetone. All right? So since we know it's acetone, let's go ahead and finish out our chart. It's got the number is, there are 6 of them that look like that, right? Because there's 3 plus 3. They have 0 neighbors, so it's going to be a singlet. And its shift is going to be, I know we already know the answer, but you need to assign all these. It doesn't look like that. That's an aldehyde. Whoa. See, that would have been another really telltale sign. If it were propanal, then it would have had a peak up at 9 to 10, which is a very unusual place for NMR. But it's not like that. It really looks like this, right? So we're expecting peaks at 2.1. Do you agree that all my hydrogens are right there, 2.1? Okay, so we're expecting that to be around 2.1. You need this table on your sheet so that I know. So your reviewer knows. Look at that. Boom. 2.1. Wow. Okay, there's no 6 up there, but that's because the numbers that are there are ratios. They're not hard numbers. They're ratios. So the 6 has no ratio, and so it doesn't matter how many of those are. All of the hydrogens are like that. So I should have done this over here. Type, number, n plus 1, and shift. Type is A. Number is 6. 0 neighbors. It's a singlet. 2.1. And so if you put that table on that's all the notes you need for your NMR, if you put that table on there, because I know then that you know why that peak goes with that. All right? So we know that the structure then is acetone. One thing we haven't shown, though, is all the important peaks up here. Now, we know we don't care about anything past 1500. Okay? But you've got a peak here and a peak here, and there is a prominent peak, the same one we showed in the last one, and that is for IR. You've got, what else do you have here, right? You've got sp3 hybridized carbons with hydrogens on them. And those are there. sp3 hybridized carbons with hydrogens, 2960 to 2850, which I wrote in the last one. I said it was about 3000, being a little bit lazy. Okay? 2960 to 2850, right? I'm just writing down what's on the sheet. I circle that and go, yeah, sure, easy. That easily fits within that range. Okay? So that is a carbon-hydrogen bond. You do need to make note of both of those for full credit, right? So you need to make note of that for full credit, that, show how you got there. These two need to be notated. There's a little bump there, which is in a weird region that means nothing to us. Okay? Nothing past 1500. We need these notes and those. And you got it. It's acetone.